What's up guys, it's Toby here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video. And after Jurgen Klopp confirmed that Kostas Tsimikas has broken his collarbone, he could be out for even longer than Andy Robertson is out, and Robertson will be back potentially mid to late January. Liverpool have no recognized left back to play, and Jurgen Klopp doesn't even know whether Liverpool can play Joe Gomez in all of the games at left back. So Liverpool are trying to sign a left back in the January transfer window, and Wolverhampton Wanderers left back Rayan Ait-Nouri is the player that Liverpool are targeting. Even a month or 2 months ago there were links with him, but those links have firmed up really, because according to the Mail newspaper, Liverpool could make a move for Ait-Nouri, who could be available for as little as 20 to 25 million pounds, but that price will be probably a little bit higher because it's the January transfer window, and Liverpool are scouting and monitoring the 20-year-old. Ait-Nouri is having a pretty good season at Wolves. I mean, Wolves are comfortably in mid-table. They have just beaten Chelsea yesterday, and by the way, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays if you celebrate Christmas with where you are living. And also, I'm a little bit sick still, but I still want to make these videos for you guys. So if you appreciate that, make sure to leave a like. So Ait-Nouri's contract expires in 2026. So he still has another 2 years left on his contract after this season. And Ait-Nouri is a solid player. The left back has been averaging a who scored player rating of 7.1. Sorry, Ait-Nouri now is 22 years old, not 20 years old. And he's a really fast player as well, with good technique, really good dribbling skills, very good passing as well. And he came through the Angers Academy in France, and then he signed for Wolverhampton. First he went there on loan, and this is his 4th season in the Premier League. And he has French and Algerian nationalities, and he represented the France under 18 and under 21 teams. And then in January of this year, he switched to represent Algeria internationally. He made his debut with the Algerian national team in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualification match. So his current market value is not 18, I was wrong, it's 28 million euros, which is 25 million pounds. So Liverpool could sign him for around 25 to 30 million pounds, depending on whether Wolves would want to do business with Liverpool. But I'm sure that as soon as Ait-Nouri realized this, that he has a chance to play for Liverpool, I think he will jump at the chance, because Liverpool are in a much higher position than Wolves. We are going to play Champions League football hopefully next season. We are in the title race, and Ait-Nouri could immediately come in and play left back for Liverpool. Joe Gomez is not a natural in that position, and you also can't expect Andy Robertson to play every game at left back between now and the next like three or 4 months. I mean, Andy Robertson will be back in late January, so until then Ait-Nouri can play pretty much all of the games at left back, and then when Robertson comes back, he still will have another 2 or 3 months to play left back, mainly because Tsimikas, a broken collarbone, it takes even longer to recover from than a dislocated shoulder that Andy Robertson had that injury. So broken collarbone could take 4 months to recover from, and that's absolutely devastating, because Tsimikas had an absolutely brilliant season and Saka shoved him onto the ground. The Arsenal fans, some of them made excuses for Saka, but I'm not buying it. I think that was a deliberate action, not necessarily to injure Tsimikas, but to hurt him definitely. And French outlet Le Ten Sport are also reporting that Liverpool hold a strong interest in Wolves' Ait-Nouri, and especially now that Tsimikas is out for 4 months, Robertson is out for potentially another month. Liverpool have no recognized left back, and Jurgen Klopp was even asked, can Joe Gomez play all of the games now until I don't know when Robertson is back? I don't know, Jurgen Klopp said. We will have to see. Robertson will be back next month, and Kostas will be definitely out for a long time. I didn't have time to think it through yet, but it's really tough for us now. You have injuries sometimes, you have to accept all of them, but a broken collarbone is really bad because it takes so long to heal. Robo had a different injury, but it takes a long time to recover from as well. We all know we need luck in these moments, and now we have to just make sure we put Joe Gomez in cotton wool and make sure he's ready for the game. And I mean, what happens when Joe Gomez gets injured? Because he's an injury prone player as well. well. Who can play left back for Liverpool? I'm not sure. I mean, do we put Luis Diaz back there, who is left-footed? Luis Diaz is also injured. I almost forgot that as well. So Liverpool have a very, very difficult scenario now. Good news is the transfer window opens in a week. Liverpool, I think, have to sign a player who can play left back and potentially centre back. If we sign Inacio, he's a left-footed centre back. He can potentially play left back. We have to have some rotating options because Liverpool will play a lot of games between now and the end of January when Robertson is potentially back. So we play on December the 26th against Burnley, then we play on January the 1st against Newcastle, then January the 7th, January the 10th, and then January the 21st. Hopefully by that time Robertson can be back. But still, that's 4 games potentially that Joe Gomez would have to play. The good news is that we have 5 games. 4 or 5 games that Joe Gomez has to play, and the good news is we have a little bit of time between Burnley and Newcastle, and then we have a week between Newcastle and playing Arsenal. But then we only have 2 rest days between playing Arsenal and the League Cup semi-final, first leg against Fulham. So I think, do you think Liverpool have to make a move in the January transfer window? Let me know in the comments below. I think we absolutely have to sign a defender, either a centre-back who can play left-back, or an out-and-out left-back would be brilliant as well, because even though Robertson and Tsimikas are great options, Robertson is getting older, so Rayan Ait-Nouri, who is only 22 years old, would be really good long-term replacement maybe for Robertson. I'm not saying he's as big a player or as good as Robertson right now, but he's only 22 years old, so he could develop into a really good player. And I just compared Tsimikas' stats with Rayan Ait-Nouri's stats this season, and in terms of chances created, Tsimikas creates 2.1 chances per 90 minutes, Ait-Nouri only 1. Passes attempted a little bit higher and passes completed a little bit higher, of course, because Liverpool pass more than Wolves. But actually, in terms of defending, Ait-Nouri has more clearances, more interceptions and more blocks than Tsimikas. But you also have to argue Wolves defend a lot more in their games than Tsimikas. But they compare pretty favorably. So Ait-Nouri is probably has a higher ceiling than Tsimikas, because Tsimikas is 27, 28 years old. Ait-Nouri is only 22 years old, so he has a lot of room to develop and grow. And reading Ait-Nouri's scout report, it's fair to say that Ait-Nouri's most common tendency is to dribble with the ball, whether inside his own half or approaching the final third, to create a goal-scoring opportunity with crossing. It helped him to stand out in the French league, and it was the side of his game that caught the eye of Europe's elite, and that's how he ended up at Wolves. First he was on a 1-season loan deal, and then Wolves signed him permanently after that successful loan spell. And Liverpool have attacking left backs, so I would prefer if Liverpool signed a player like Ait-Nouri who can dribble with the ball and who can cross and get assists. And when he broke through in the Wolves team, he was in the top 4% for successful dribbles per 90 minutes at 2.9. And to get him into these attacking areas, he has used his nimble and eager dribbling style to get past on opponents and into areas of real threat. He can either overlap the winger ahead of him, most frequently it was Pedro Neto, or produce the underlap and dive inside with the ball at his feet with the same intention of creating a shooting opportunity. His method of getting the ball past his opponents relies on his ability to spin his opponents with quick bursts of pace. He rarely takes advantage of any flare type skill moves in 1-against-1 scenarios, not even a step over or roulette to drag it past an opponent. He does occasionally utilize a fake shot though to bait his opponent. And Ait-Nouri has been playing most of the games for Wolves at left back this season. He played almost the full game against Chelsea. He played almost the full game against Tottenham. He played the full game against Sheffield United, Newcastle, Bournemouth, and this season he already has 17 games. No goals or assists though this season. I'm not sure what to make of that, but maybe Wolves are getting goals and assists, of course, from midfielders and strikers this season. And remember, we signed Robertson from relegated Hull City. A lot of people were scratching their heads. What is that all about? We also signed Tsimikas from Olympiacos, not really like a huge club in European football. They are a huge club in Greece, but those were very, very good picks. And if Liverpool scouts rate Ait-Nouri, he's only 22 years old, so he would be the perfect age profile. Tsimikas is 27, 28, Robertson is 30, so we need a younger left back sooner or later anyway. And I think for 25, 30 million pounds, he would really help Liverpool, especially now that we don't have a recognized left back. That's when you need to dip into the transfer market. Luckily for Liverpool, the transfer market opens in a week, so hopefully we can do this transfer. And Jamie Carragher said even though Darwin Núñez is in a 11-game goal drought and he's in a poor run of form in front of goal, he should be one of the first names on the team sheet. I think even when I watched the midweek, he still creates a goal, he creates panic. There's a feeling even if it's not going well, you are thinking he could run past someone, he could get a shot off from somewhere, he could do something unexpected. And that was the feeling when he came on against Arsenal. He dribbled past 3 or 4 Arsenal defenders. And I think now that Luis Diaz is out injured, we don't know how serious his knee injury is, but he could be out for a month or 2 months, maybe even more. Hopefully not. But Darwin Núñez should start on the left wing and dribble past people and utilize his pace. Gakpo should start up front until Jota is back from his injury. Hopefully Jota will be back very soon as well. And John Aldridge said that he had a concern about Liverpool's finishing power. And we haven't said that often this season, but Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz were poor against Arsenal in the first 45 minutes. And it needed that moment of brilliance from Salah to drag Liverpool back into the game. Gakpo is a great player, but needs help from players around him to influence the game, and I have some concerns about Diaz, who obviously had a lot on his mind in recent months after his father was kidnapped back home in Colombia. He also had a serious injury, and it looks like he has lost some confidence with the drive he had to take on opponents when he first arrived at the club. That's absent right now, and I think that's the main worry. Luis Diaz, with his injury, maybe he lost a yard of pace, maybe he lost his confidence, or it's a mix of all the things coming together. Mentally, it must have been very tough what he went through. Getting your family kidnapped, your father and your mother, and your father being kidnapped for like a week and nobody knew whether Luis Diaz would ever see his father alive again. That must have been absolutely horrendous. So I think I will give Luis Diaz a break this season, and maybe this injury is a blessing in disguise, because maybe then Luis Diaz can get mentally right and physically when he recovers from his injury. Hopefully he will be back to his best, and I wish him all the best. Let me know what you think about, this left back conundrum that Liverpool face in the comments below, and happy holidays guys. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, see you later, goodbye.